personally would not recommend one serving. I would say keep your serving under 20, because that tells you that it's high, but it's on the higher side. You just don't want to go higher than that. So for a quick percentage daily value reference, remember those two magic numbers, 5% and 20%. 5 tells you that this is low, 20 tells you that this is high. Okay, another thing you want to pay attention to, and the sodium content is usually is after the total fat. So when you see your total fat and cholesterol, the next thing that you should expect to see would be sodium. One other thing that we need to take note of is the serving size. So first things first, you want to remember that whatever value you're seeing here is for one serving. So if this is maybe a bag of chips, that you are likely to eat more than one serving, or maybe a teaspoon of almond butter or something, that tells you when I have 2 servings of that, it's giving me 66% of my daily value. If I have 3 servings of this, it's going to give me 99%, and that's like 100% already from just this one sitting. So that tells you that this is not one of the things that would be a good source of our sodium for that day. Okay, all right. And then the next thing is, there are some things that we should take note of when we talk about sodium in our food labels and reading our food labels as well. Sometimes you see some particular food that's marketed as sodium free. Now that's good, and that could be good if it's truly sodium free, because what that means is a particular brand has less than 5 milligrams per serving, and that's ideally that's a low amount of sodium. If you have very low sodium, it doesn't mean it's sodium free, but it tells you that it still has 35 milligrams or less per serving. Remember that in a whole day we don't want to have more than 1500 milligrams. So that's still not too bad. Then we have low sodium. Low sodium doesn't mean no sodium. Low sodium will still give you some amount of sodium, and that's about 40 milligrams or less per serving. And then there's reduced or less sodium, which is at least 25% less than the original product. And then you have light or light in sodium, which is at least 50% less than the regular version. I always recommend that we should strive to find some of these options, because what this means is that the brand has gone like an extra mile to make sure that there's a reduced amount of sodium in here. There's some brands that would say no salt added. No salt added doesn't necessarily mean it's sodium free. No salt added just means that while processing this particular food, there was no additional salts or sodium that was added into that meal. So when a brand says no salt added and it's really large on the surface of the product, many times it's a marketing gimmick, and it's something we call the halo effect. It doesn't necessarily mean there is no sodium in that meal, but it's because when they know that when people see, oh, no salt added, they're like, oh, that's healthy, let's grab that. But no, you still want to make sure you're looking at the sodium on the food label and checking the percentage daily value. Remember the 2 magic numbers, 5 and 20. If it's closer to 5, then that's good, it's lower. And then if it's closer to 20, that's not very good for you. So always verify the claims on your products against the actual nutrition facts panel that's on that product, because many times again it's just a marketing gimmick. And when it comes to hidden sodium, some of the things to watch out for, especially now that we are in the summer and some of us are going to be going on vacation or going to like family and friends or going to have cookouts and things like that, these are some of the foods that you want to just watch out for, because they might be things that actually carry more sodium than we can think about. We have salad dressing and marinades. We've talked about it before, how we can swap some of our salad dressings, and we focused majorly on the calorie content. This class again is more like an advanced food label reading, like I mentioned. So now we're not even just talking about the calories alone, we're looking at the sodium, how much salt is there. So your salad dressings, while you want to check for the calories and try to get the lower calorie ones, you also want to check for the sodium levels. And remember the percentage daily value, 5 and 20. Pickled and fermented foods, of course, we know what that means is that it's been salted, it's been cured. So that's something that you might want to just be very careful around. Take as little as possible or avoid when you can. And then breakfast foods, things like breakfast sandwiches that have like meat in them, processed meats and things, they actually have loads and loads of sodium. So that's something to be careful around. There's also soy sauce and Asian condiments. Many times there are the ones that have those reduced sodium or no sodium and things like that. So those are the ones that you want to go for, especially when it comes to cooking or just making sure that you have the lesser sodium options. Processed cheese is another one that's very often overlooked because it's usually healthy, it's fermented, it has all the protein, but many times has a lot of sodium. So that's something to look out for. And then restaurants and fast food, of course, we can't say that enough. Many times, a single meal can have like 5 times your entire sodium need for that day. So that's something to watch out for and look out for. As much as possible, you can ask for modifications like, hey, I don't want extra salt on my food or just something. So that's something to look out for and watch out for. The daily sodium targets, when we talk about cardiovascular, kidney, and metabolic disease risk, like we've mentioned, the general population, we say, according to the World Health Organization, the American Heart Association, the Diabetes Association, everybody says 2,300 milligrams a day. But because we are looking at that, we're already in that pre-diabetes or diabetes range, we want to make sure that we're reducing even further than the general population. So we say 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams per day. And it's just basically what I've said. If you can reduce it to even 1,000 milligrams per day, depending on what level of risk you are, is very helpful for your blood pressure as well. And the reason is, we say sodium encourages you to retain water. So it encourages your blood volume to be bigger, to be more, to be, your heart is pumping more blood and that puts more pressure on it. So essentially that's why. One tip that I'll put here is try to pair sodium rich foods, or well, whenever you have foods that have sodium, pair it with potassium rich foods, things like leafy greens, beans, banana, because that actually supports your blood pressure balance. So when you're striving to reduce your sodium in your diet, you want to try to also have some potassium foods that are rich in potassium as well. But then of course, nutrition is very individualized. So this is the part where we talk to you about your own personal goal, your own personal target, depending on what your health is, what your kidney function is, what your blood pressure is, what your goals are in general. Okay.